Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello class, my name is Ananda Lailatul F. As the moderator for today's presentation, we are from group 2 and our topic of presentation today is about idioms and slang. But before that, let me introduce our members of group. Please, next to the our members of group, there is Ayra, Asla, Nabilah, Ananda Lailatul F, Nazla Nadyma, Nur Aisyah, and Difa'a Nurfajri B. Without any further ado, let's start our presentation today by saying Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, the first material will be delivered by me. It's about definition of idioms and slang. Next slide, please. Okay, here is definition of idiom. There are two definitions here. The first is, idiom is a phrase where the word together have a meaning that is different from the dictionary definition of the individual words. And the second one is, an idiom is a combination of words that has a meaning that is different from the meaning of the individual words themselves. Next slide, please. Definition of slang, and there are two definitions. First is, slang is very informal words and expressions that are more common in spoken language, especially used by a particular group of people, for example, like children, criminals, soldiers, etc. And the second one is, slang is words or phrases which are informal and typically restricted to a particular context or group of people. Okay, and the next material will be delivered by Ayra. So Ayra, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Okay. So, what is the difference between idioms and slang? Well, idioms are a group of words or phrases with a meaning that's not easily determined from its literal meaning. An idiom's figurative sense is related to its literal meaning somehow, but the relationship is not easily detectable. So it is important to know that idioms are often used in literature and written English. One can find idioms and idiomatic expression in well-known and well-calculated lexicons and dictionaries. On the other hand, slang is word phrases or a term used by a specific group or certain people. Slang is usually seen in everyday conversation. Lots of people use it, and you can sometimes find that it's used in literature as well. There are different kinds of slang too, such as village slang, schoolboy slang, medicine slang, and like that. In other words, it can be said that there is special slang associated with different professions. On the other hand, for me, I'll give it back to the moderator.
Okay, bye, Nazla. So Nazla, time is yours.
Okay, thank you to moderator for the time. The natural is sense of idioms and slang. First, functions of idioms are used too often to replace a literal word or expression. Many times, the idiom better describes the full nuance of meaning. Idioms and idiomatic actions can be more precise than the literal words, often using fewer words but saying more. Idioms are ways to add color to our everyday language to spice it up. The function of slang is seldom to exchange of information. More often, slang serves a social purpose such as to identify members of a group, to change the level of discourse in the direction of informality, and then to oppose established authority. And next slide, please. Okay, benefits of idiom and slang. First, the benefits of idiom. Idioms are particularly useful because they give a new creative way to express yourself. Rather than saying, you are correct, you could say, you hit the nail on the head, which is a more complex and interesting expression. Idioms can amplify message in a way that draws senses. Likewise, with other benefits such as increase a better understanding of English, idioms are very important in social life. Able to communicate something in simple and interesting way makes your English sound like native speaker. And not only is your English getting better, but your insight is also getting better. And then the benefits of slang is better to prevent misunderstandings and understand popular music and literature, and to be more creative, fit in somewhere new and increase your fluency and also avoid causing offense. So that's all I can say. I'll be back to moderator.
Okay, thank you, Nazla, for your explanation. And the next material will be delivered by Difa'a Nurfajri B. So, Difa'a, time is yours.
Alright, thanks for the time. So, as my partner previously explained about the definition of idiom and slang, here are some examples of it. As you can see, we have several examples of idiomatic phrases such as to and fro, which has meaning from side to side, to and to the backbone, which means completely in all way, and so on. And an example of its use can be seen on the screen. We have brace, break the bank. The idioms means to be very expensive. Examples of its use are I had to break the bank to buy this bag. Other examples is cut no ice, which has meaning have no effect or fail to make impact, which can be used like your poetry cuts no ice with me. And the, the next is example of slang. There is a lot of slang used by teenagers, and some of them can be seen on the screen, such as "What's up?" which means what are you doing? Lighten up, and chill have meaning as relax. Salty as an expression of jealousy. Low key, seem, dude, dope, sus, small, and so on. Then, for example, of using slang in sentence like "have a crush," which has meaning attracted someone romantically, can be used like "I have a big crush on you." And other example, such as "no big deal," which has meaning not a problem. For example, "Thanks for helping me. Not big deal, sir." That's it. And the next material will be delivered by Nur Aisyah.
Okay, thanks, Diva, for giving me time. Next slide, please. Okay, here I will deliver about types of idioms, and the first type is pure idioms. Pure idioms are idioms whose original meaning has been forgotten to the point where the phrase can no longer be analyzed logically to determine its meaning. So the example here is break a leg. Break a leg mean here is not wishing someone like a brick, but wishing someone for good luck. Next slide, please. And the second is binomial idioms. Binomial idioms are idioms that are made up of two elements that function used to express disconnect or opposition or else to form a statement. These idioms usually joined by and or. And the example here is wine and dine. The meaning of these idioms is for treat someone to dinner and drinks. Next slide, please. And the third types of idioms is partial idioms. A partial idiom contains a literal part and a non-literal part. So the example here is when in Rome. Do as the meaning of this idiom when in Rome is do as the Romans do. And the second example here is if the shoe fits. So the meaning of these idioms is wear it. So these idioms is make us to quicker to say, but it still can also make us confusing to understand the meaning because it also understanding for just some people. Next slide, please. So the fourth is prepositional idioms. Prepositional idioms are idioms that contain prepositional verbs plus an adverb or a preposition to create non-literal meaning. These types of idioms need to be placed into a sentence. So example here is agree on. The meaning is collectively decide. And agree to, the meaning to accept something. And the last one is agree with. Its meaning to concur with another person. The next slide, please. Number 5 is proverbs. Proverbs or in Indonesian biasa kita kenal sebagai peribahasa. This is one of idioms. So proverbs are idioms that provide universal truths or sage advice. They are often provided by wise people or contain morals that are passed on from generation to generation. So for example, here is actions speak louder than words. Next slide. 6 is euphemism. Euphemisms are words or praise used to talk about negative stuff without sounding too negative. So we can use this when gently casting someone, talking about something uncomfortable, or even talking about something taboo. So for example, here is passed away. The meaning of passed away is for that idioms. And in another example is between jobs is unemployed, and big bone for a fat, and powder minus is for use the toilet. Next. And the last of types of idioms is cliches, a word or a phrase that has become so popular that it is considered overused. It can also be utilized to describe something outdated or unoriginal. So these idioms are often avoided by creative writers, novelists, and songwriters because these idioms are betray any sense of seriousness and skill. So for example, here is don't judge a book by its cover, and don't worry, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Next slide. So exactly, there are no specific types of slang. It because slang is a word or a phrase that comes from a certain community or a group of people. But I will give some example of some slang from different communities. Here, the example is from American slang, British slang, Australian slang, Canadian slang, and internet slang. In American slang, they usually use my bad for the meaning is my mistake. And for one, the meaning is what's the gossip. Cheesy, the meaning is cheap or tacky, and etc. So the Canadian slang that are dart for meaning if someone asking for a cigarette, and loony for a $1 coin, Mickey for a 375 milli bottle of alcohol, and etc. And the British slang here is mad for the meaning a friend, gutted for the meaning if someone sad or disappointed, gander for take a look, and etc. And the Australian slang here, the example is bonzer. Its meaning for great or awesome. And go tropo, the meaning is go crazy. And grow mad, the meaning is a young surfer, and etc. So the last slang is from internet slang. Maybe some of you have ever hear this slang before, like BTW, the meaning is by the way, and LMK is let me know, ASAP, as soon as possible, and etc. So that's enough for me. I will give it back to moderator.
Okay, thank you, Difa and Nur, for your explanation. All right, now we have reached the end of our presentation. Let's close our presentation today by saying Alhamdulillah together. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Thanks to all presenters for your great presentation, and for audience, thank you for your attention. That's all from us, Group 2. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.